Okay, guys, now we're going to do the exercise on page 6. The section is an uncertain future. Okay, for these exercises, we're not going to focus on the grammar, but we're going to focus on the expressions and strategies about how to do this kind of exercise. Okay, this first exercise here, we have to fill the gap with these phrases here. I think it's important that before you do anything, read all the sentences first, and then you read all the exercise. Like this, you will have a better idea what the context is about. Okay, sometimes you might have one sentence that might fit two different gaps, but then the alternative you have left doesn't necessarily fit the gap you have left. So it's always good to read everything first, analyze really well, and then you start doing the exercise. Okay. So if you have done the exercise already, let's take a look here. I think we can correct this together. Okay. So like I said, the alternatives we have here are these: when you graduate, get a good degree, to start a family, and then travel the world, then retire before I think about settling down. Okay. Uh, if we look here at some sentences, they are a little bit, the context might be similar, like graduate and get a degree. They're related, so we have to be careful about this kind of context. Okay. Retire and settle down, they're not exactly the same, but they might be related. Okay, retire means to stop working after you're old, after you have worked for a long time, and settle down means to start to take a little easier after some extreme experience. Okay, so they might be a little related. Okay, we have to pay attention about the context, not to make any confusion. Okay, well, let's take a look here. So, Greg, have you thought about which colleges you'd like to apply to yet? I told you, Mom, I'm not so sure that I want to go to college. But if, but if, get a good degree, you'll be guaranteed a secure future. You know, in 10 years, you could be the manager of a huge company. Uh, Again, guys, a good idea is always try to put yourself into the context. Okay, expand the interpretation here. Getting a good degree is a common concern parents have regarding their children. Okay, so this is a moment they're talking about their future. I think this is a reasonable context to complete here. Let's move on. But that's just it, Mom. I don't want to manage a big company or a small company either. I don't want to spend 40 years doing that and wonder where my life went. That's not the future I want. Okay, so working for 40 years after you have, so if you have worked for 40 years, probably you're talking about retirement. So I imagine here, I don't want to spend 40 years doing that, then retire and wonder where my life went. So that's not the future I want. So what are you going to do when you graduate then? So you're not going to work. You're not going to work for a big company. So after you finish college, what are you going to do? Well, I'm not sure yet. Maybe work, save some money for a few months, get some life experience. Well, maybe a good way to get some life experience would be travel the world. Well, that won't do you much good. In this day and age, employers want people with work experience, not travel experience. So here, travel is a good way to confirm the answer. Well, maybe you're right, Mom, but even so, I want some time for myself. I want some time for myself to start a family. I want some time to myself before I think about settling down. So in this case, they're using settle down, meaning to experience everything, have an intense experience traveling, and then you can have your buy your home, buy your house, start a family. That would be the idea of settle down. There's nothing wrong with settling down. So again, here the following sentence helps us confirm the information. That's what your father and I did. I know, Mom, and that was fine for you and Dad back in the last century. But the world's different now, and people have such different aims, ideas, everything. Yeah, I suppose so. But don't worry, Mom. I mean, I'd like eventually. So you can look forward to playing with your grandchildren someday. So here he's talking about the mother, talking to his mother about playing with the grandchildren. To do that, he needs to start a family. That's it. Okay, so these are the answers. Get a good degree, then retire. 3. When you graduate. 4. And then travel the world before I think about settling down to start a family. Yeah? Good. So we did this exercise. Now we're familiar with the context. Okay? We can move on to the next exercise. Okay? For this exercise, guys, just pay attention. Make sure you understand what the exercise is asking. Mark true or false or DS for doesn't say. Some students, when they do this kind of exercise, they don't notice that you have 3 possibilities here. Doesn't say something that is not expressed in the article or in whatever context they're asking you to analyze. Okay, so make sure that you see all these possibilities: true, false, or doesn't say. So let's try to do this exercise. So Greg and his mom have talked about college before. In this case, I believe it's true, because when the mom asks in the first paragraph, which college would you like to apply? Have you thought about which college you would like to apply yet? So this yet shows that she's expecting for his answer, and he hasn't decided, he hasn't thought about anything yet. Okay. 2. Greg's father worked for a big company. The mother mentions something about that the future she wants for her son is kind of what worked for her and for her husband, but it's not really clear if he worked for a big company or a small company, or if he's self-employed. So Greg's father worked for a big company. Doesn't say. Number 3, Greg definitely wants to travel after he graduates. Be careful about this one, because Greg he is talking about traveling, but he doesn't use the word definitely. He used the word maybe. Okay, so he definitely wants to travel after he graduates. No, that's not true. 4. Greg's mother values work experience. This one is true. We talked about this. Okay, she's even, I think, a little bit sarcastic when she says that companies, they want employees with work experience, not travel experience. And 5, Greg would like to be a father someday. And he mentions in the end that the mom, she doesn't have to worry about that. He's considering becoming a father, having a family one day. That's it. Okay? So guys, be careful about this true and false exercise. Like I said before, attention about the doesn't say, not mention information, and sometimes some keywords make a huge difference. Okay, maybe is different from definitely. Okay, so be careful about that. Next exercise, again, just have to complete the exercise with the appropriate words. Again, I suggest you check all the words read all the sentences before you start doing the activity. Okay, so let's see. Number 1. I intend to the world, but when I got to Brazil, I loved it so much that I stayed. Okay, so I intend to. So I think here, I imagine it would be travel. Okay, I want to travel the world, but when I got to Brazil, I loved it so much that I stayed. So no more traveling in this case. 2. I don't know what to do after I from high school. So after high school means you finish high school. So after you graduate from high school. 3. She got her from Harvard. Harvard is a university, so she got a degree. She got her degree from Harvard. 4. He worked really hard, and after a few months, he got well, here we're talking about working for a few months. Okay, so not retired, probably he's promoted. He got promoted after a few months. Okay. 5. My grandfather had worked for the same company for 42 years before he, again, we talked about this before, you work for many years and then you stop working because you're old, so before he retired. 6. A marketing class is a good way to start in sales, to start a career. A good way to check the alternatives is to see the kind of word that fits the sentence. Okay, to start we need a noun here. So settled is can be a verb or an adjective. Start is a verb. Okay, so a marketing class is a good way to start a career in sales. So this is a good way to check the alternative to complete the sentence. 7. They bought a house and settled down in the town where they grew up. So like I said before, to settle down means after you have experienced after you have lived some intense experiences, then you start to take a little easier. You settle down, buy a house, start a family, etc. And 8, they feel they don't have enough money yet to start a family. Yes, this is always a general concern about young people, young couples, about having enough money to start a family. So there you go, guys. So number 1, travel. 2, graduate. 3, degree. 4, promoted. 5, retired. 6, career. 7, settled. And 8, start. Okay, that's it. So here we have lots of phrases, lots of words, so you guys can use in the following exercise. This exercise 2, I have prepared again a Google Forms. I'm gonna post the link in the description below. Okay, and I want you guys to answer the following question. Give your own opinion about all these topics. At what age do people usually finish school in your country? Do you think this is the right age? Why or why not? Okay, school here, you can focus either on high school, or if you want to focus on university as well, just make sure you let me know what you're talking about. 2, at what age can people retire in your country? Is it the same for men and for women? Do you think this is the right age? Why or why not? I just want to know your guys' opinion about this. And do you need a degree to have a good career? Why or why not? Okay, so analyze, give your opinion about the pressure people have about obtaining a degree to be accomplished professionals. Okay, guys, that's it. Do the exercise, click on the link below to do the exercise in the Google Forms, and I think we can move on. Thanks so much.